Yo, this is the Akainu raid, and I can do this in auto skip in about 7.5 to 8 minutes. You gotta have your farm around level 70-ish, I'd say. With Midas preferably, just so you can get this like earlier farm placement in. This whole thing is auto skippable, and it's not too hard. What I use Whitebeard as my main DPS to deal with most of the bosses and other units. Zeke is for my airs at the back, as well as just rear support, although it's really necessary. You can do this whole thing just at the back if you want, not that it really matters. You're just gonna easy here for all of them. Azeth as well is also necessary. That's my usual starting unit. It's not too hard for the raid. To do Azeth. It's pretty simple. I recommend you do it with a friend though, because it gets pretty boring grinding it if you're going to go for pity. But you place these Azeths, they get early, and then you got to get your farms. You can farm a fair bit until you're ready for about the powerfuls, really, which come in. So you can just keep an eye on them if you want. They should be around like here. Yep. So got like solid bit here. So I'm just gonna keep on farming. Azeth can really just handle the defense for like a while. Later on, we'll place a Whitebeard at the front just for like backup, but it's not really necessary. Chuck that down. Placing this Azeth at the front before the wave skip, bit inconsistent, because it goes with how much money you get at the start. This is just what works for me. You can do it easier with higher level stuff or like different traits and stuff. Realistically, kind of depends on your units to an extent, but it's pretty simple overall. Yeah, just keep it on green. No, ignore that. So once we get to this stage, we're going to place a Whitebeard. So you want to make sure your AoE hits that back pillar for Akainu later. Place one there, and then this Akainu, same thing. Make sure you hit it, and this is going to be the one that kills the rare Akainu that spawns. We just get that to AoE. You don't really need to worry about maxing out any of your Whitebeards really, because he does double, he does plenty of damage, and he's pretty expensive. So I'm going to place that. That's realistically my whole defense for the rear. I'm going to upgrade this one to AoE, and then we're going to place Zeeks in the back corners here, and they're going to deal with any airs that push by or any other units that get by in case they get stunned. You can use other units like say Broly or Ulquiorra or like Goku, but it kind of depends on your situation. It makes the raid a little less consistent because you spend a lot of money on like the single hill units when you can just get stunned and it ruins your whole run. Anyways, with this one, you're not going to place them to 10k upgrade, so you don't even need Ascended for this really. For Zeke, so you can just chuck one there, then chuck one about there. That's about works. Bit of range pass, so kind of unlucky, but yeah, we're going to get them to 4 each. That's going to be our hill support. He's got our Akainu. The whole raid's kind of dependent on luck to an extent, if I'm being honest. But you can kind of eliminate that factor with good enough units. Yeah. So we're then going to place Owens here. You don't need them, but they just help with the buff. Just help speed it up a bit. Like I said, you can place further back. You can do all this a little easier. This is just if you want a little quicker. So you don't need to upgrade them past. You get to a certain level, you don't even need to max them. Or you don't need to have more than, one each for buff. Pretty simple. These guys, the flying can be a little scary because you get a little far. But they're not an issue throughout the entire thing, really. As long as you have those Zeeks at the back, they'll cover it. So you'll see here, I'm at wave 15. So I'm just going to sell all my farms. And you can max out the Whitebeards if you want. Not that it really matters, like I said. You can play the Zeke if you want. I also chuck a Blackbeard here. Just try hit the hit Kizaru when he comes by. I place this one a little weird. Place a little further back if you want. But you want to place that. Don't place on this side because Akainu is so slow already. He already slows down the raid tenfold. Like you can see the difference in speed between the two of them. It's kind of alright, it's fine. So you can see Akainu's getting melted here, so you can just pop a buff if you want. You'll get stunned. That's a given. Can't really do much about that. So yeah, this is pretty much just the raid. Wait it out. You can see, flying a dying by the Zeeks. This guy's helping with this Akainu. He's dealing with the other one that run past. This Akainu is pretty much dead. You can do the same strategy in duos, but in duos, I recommend you place further back. One person just farms like pretty much full thing. The other just use as death. I usually place them here and here. But yeah, it's pretty simple. The only issue with back is I notice, especially heal units, if you target them on flying, then they seem to go for the bosses that have shield that you get near the start, which can be kind of a pain. Another thing I'll point out is with Whitebeard, I highly recommend you have the disruption here through the damage tree, just because it lets you get rid of all the big boss's shield earlier on, really easily, really. You can use Aaron, but the boss has like 160, 180 shield, so it kind of depends. I recommend you just use these guys because they win the round pretty easily. You don't have to worry about the shield at all then, You can see, this is all good. We'll kill that guy in time. Kizaru's already dead. So I can just, you can sell these. There's no other units. It's just the Akiji there. I'm going to place a SS on both of these to kill them now. And yeah, this is just about the thing. Just going to place a Zeke there. Like I said, it doesn't matter what you do. It's pretty free win. On the raid drop, it seemed a little tougher, but realistically, you can win it with no issue. See, he has 1 million health. He's already pretty much dead. And boom. And that is how quick is that? 724 run. It's pretty simple. You can farm the coins pretty easily. You can macro it, but if you macro in the game, you're just not as good. That's just how it goes. I'm sorry. Yeah. Have a good one.